How would you feel knowing you saved one animal from dying of starvation, being abused, or being put to sleep? It would feel amazing, wouldn't it? The ASPCA, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty of Animals, believes that animals are entitled to kind and respectful treatment at the hands of humans and deserve to be protected by law. Animals deserve to be loved, protected, and taken care of. Matthew Berkshander, president and CEO of ASPCA, says his goal is to get animals out of shelters and keep them in homes while increasing the protection of animals under the law, and wants to shape a society that continuously improves the lives for animals. Animal cruelty and abuse happens every day. According to HumaneSociety.org, 70% of abuse cases happen in dogs, 20% happen in cats, and 24% happen with other animals. The cost of one household pet adds up quickly. Dogs and cats are like kids. They need food, they need beds, they need food bowls, crates to sleep in, collars, flea prevention, and yearly doctor visits. And with each additional animal, I'm sure you can imagine how the costs just continue to add up. Every day, animals find their way into shelters from either being abandoned, running off, being relinquished from longtime owners who have came across a situation where they can no longer care for their animal, and sometimes found barely alive from neglect and abuse. Shelters have limited resources and stretch them beyond their means to supply a shelter full of animals with food, toys, and most of the time, medication. Shelters rely on donations from generous people to keep animals alive and healthy. All shelters are not no-kill shelters, because some shelters do not have enough money and are overcrowded, so some animals are put to sleep solely because they did not have enough resources to keep them alive. Shelters are not shelters without the help of people realizing that these animals have no voice and no choice whatsoever in what happens to them. They do their best to stretch what they have, but that can only last for so long. Animals end up in shelters for more reasons than we think. Some families have to move to a community where they don't allow the specific breed that they have, and they have to give them away or take them to a shelter because they can't have them at their new house. Some people abandon their animals because they don't realize how much work an animal takes. They need treats, they need attention, they need you to take them outside every 15 minutes to go potty. People don't realize how important animals are and how just alike kids they are without being able to talk, which makes it even more important that we voice for them. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty of Animals was founded in 1866, according to ASPCA.org, and fights for the rights of animals that are wild or domesticated. According to Linda Cole on Canaday.com, ASPCA shares their resources with shelters throughout the United States and actively promotes and educates the public on the importance of responsible pet ownership. ASPCA is a 501c3 nonprofit organization and has more than 1 million members worldwide. They provide national and local anti-cruelty, humane education, legislative services, and shelter outreach. So many innocent and helpless animals are in need and deserve our help. $1 can go further than you think, and we can bring down the statistics of animal abuse and suffering if we all come together with one voice to speak for the animals that don't have one. Imagine seeing animals that could barely walk or move thrive because of your contribution. You could have 10 of your friends each donate $1, and that alone would buy a bag of dog food that could feed at least 5 dogs for an entire week. That's an entire week of animals having food to eat, because if they didn't have food, they may have to be put down because they can't afford them. Imagine what more than $1 can do. It can make a huge difference. Imagine a world with less neglect towards animals, educated adoptions, and less overcrowded, barely getting by shelters. ASPCA is and will continue to fight for animal rights, and we can fight with them. Animals depend on us to be their voice. Take a stand and lend a hand. There are more than one ways to help. You can become a monthly donor and get newsletters on all the stuff ASPCA has to offer. You can also donate just once and whenever you want, when you can, because some people can't do the monthly payments, but any donation is the best donation because it will still count. You can also become a founder by making $500 or more donation, and their website also gives many ways you can help and volunteer in your community with animals. Any donation is the right donation, because any help is better than no help at all. ASPCA fights for animal rights, and so can we. I have a poster just to show you the kind of animals ASPCA donates to help. Animals that were found starving to death, animals in overcrowded shelters, and animals that were found barely alive, barely fed. ASPCA wants to help all of these animals, and we can all help with them. Thanks.